The Thunder are an average team, 4-4 in the playoffs, when their star, SGA, has 8 free throw attempts or fewer. They're 500. That's all they are. And remember we told you the Celtics were a better road team because they live on the 3. You don't need the whistle when you're shooting threes. The 3 travels well. Yeah, OKC does not travel well. And they're young rotational players, and we know this. We've told you this. You know this. Young rotational players and bench players, like Indiana's, are always better at home than they are on the road. And they get a little tight. They don't get the home cooking. They commit a few more turnovers. OKC is just okay. Through the last 3 series, they're 2-4 on the road. And because the Thunder didn't play a lot of close games. Remember, they won by an average of 12.9 points a game. The downside of that is they didn't play a lot of close games. And the best clutch team in the NBA is Indiana. They're 9-1 in the playoffs in clutch games. So in close, tight games, the last 6 minutes of the game last night, the Thunder had 1 field goal. They weren't even good at the free throw line. So their youth and their depth is a huge, huge edge during the regular season, right? But they just have huge energy. And the regular season, it's not about preparation. Sometimes it's a back-to-back. You're watching film in the locker room as you put your uniform on. It's about bodies. It is about energy. And OKC is the best in the league at that. But the playoffs, everybody's equally rested. And you face the same team over and over and over. And Rick Carlisle is sitting there thinking, okay, I'm starting to figure this team out a little bit. I'm starting to figure this team out. Late in the fourth quarter, it was Oklahoma City that was gassed. Indiana was getting great looks. They shot 52% for the game. So we have ourselves a series now. I mean, think about the regular season. The only teams that have ever won as many games as the Thunder in the regular season are the early Warriors with Steph and Clay, the best team ever, Michael Jordan's Bulls, and the Wilt, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West Lakers.
Okay. I really want to talk about this because I really find this conversation so infuriating. I'll be really honest. This like surprise that we have ourselves a series here. This is the NBA Finals with 2 awesome teams. Like I talked about this before when Colin had a segment talking about how this series is boring. There's not a lot of juice here, etc., etc. And I was like, this is insane. And I referenced how I saw a quote from someone saying that, the people that don't like, a lot of people are saying they don't like this series, and it's coming from people who like don't watch basketball, don't like basketball. And watching people like now coping in real time, being like, whoa, this game was interesting. And it's like, well, obviously. Like, obviously. And I can't not watch it through this lens now. I mean, it actually kind of drives me crazy because the whole time I'm watching this game last night, I'm thinking to myself, this is some of the most exciting basketball that I've seen in years. And it's built on real basketball. Basketball that you're trying to get like 10-year-olds to play. It's not reliant on people who are just bigger, stronger, faster. It's not reliant on someone who's just shooting 50% from 3. Someone who's 7 feet tall and can just easily get to the rim. It's not based off of that. It's actually based on fundamentals, which sounds so funny to say because it's like fundamentals has somehow become like a cliche in like in lots of industries, honestly. But especially in sports, it's like the fundamentals, and like that's what we're watching, and it's awesome. I mean, it's been just such high level, brilliant, nail biting ball on both sides, honestly. And that's why I even kind of take issue how this is being broken down. I'm going to have a separate video talking about the Pacers victory because this is all kind of like OKC getting tight and OKC when they're not shooting free throws and when they're on the road and this or that. This was 2 great teams playing basketball, and both teams are not going to be able to be perfect. Like it's like in a way we've almost been kind of, kind of got greedy with some of these other players over the years who just reliably can just put up like insane numbers game after game after game after game after game. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph, etc. And, people associate that with like that's the peak of excitement. That's the peak excitement in basketball. And I'd argue it's not. I used to think it was at times, but watching teams like this, and when you see that these teams now are filled with other players who are stepping up, that are not famous, that are probably discussed maybe like 5 times in an entire NBA season, it's awesome to see. Whether it's Caruso, whether it's TJ McConnell, like it's awesome to see that we can enjoy basketball, that we can have literally some of the most exciting ball you could watch, and it doesn't have to be just LeBron James versus Steph Curry. Who's the face of the league, Ant or Jokic? I mean, like, and it's awesome. And obviously, you still got SGA, Halliburton, Siakam. Like, I'm not acting like there's no star power here, but I just like it's just you see people in real time, being like, whoa, who would have thought that this would have been an interesting series? It's like anyone who watches basketball, anyone who actually knows basketball, because it was like the way how it was like sculpted, how it was structured, which is so irritating. Was game 1 was a fluke for the Pacers, and then game 2 kind of showed, see, obviously OKC is the best team. They're better. They now in those 2 games, they've, had the lead for like the entire, for both games except for like 10 seconds or whatever, whatever the heck the stat was. And then now it was like you have this game 3, and it was like, I mean, that was like the most tense game ever. It was so like, and again, it wasn't like a stereotypical shootout where, again, you're having Steph knock down a 3 and then LeBron James for a big and one. Like, it wasn't like that. It was just high quality, fundamental basketball where the game was constantly teetering on the brink. And it was great. And it's entertaining to see people be like shocked by it and be like, whoa, wow. Leading into the show, but I can't play because it's got like, like the music, like a real song playing. And it's just like, he's like, whoa, I can't believe we got some drama in this series. And it's just like, have we not been watching the playoffs throughout this whole, spring and summer? Like, where is the shock here? Why is this even remotely surprising? And like I said, I'm watching this series, and it drives me crazy that people had takes like, the series is over. Nah, we already know who's gonna win. I mean, they were already setting the Thunder up to be a dynasty. Like, that was literally a conversation that Colin and Nick had together, where they were just like, is it too soon to say that the Thunder's a dynasty? Well, now they're down 2-1 in the NBA Finals. And I'm not saying that the Thunder aren't going to come back and win. Thunder could go rip off the next 3 wins, boom, parade and all. Like, I'm a big believer in the Thunder, I am. But I'm also a big firm believer in like we're so ridiculous with trying to just like stamp who's going to win and who's going to lose so early, or that we have like just no reservations and we have nothing but confidence how this series will go, or nothing but confidence that it's easily going to be won by one team or the other. And then we act like, when that's not the case, we're just like, well, who could have seen this coming? This is shocking. And it's like, no, it's not. Your original analysis was just fundamentally wrong. And this is everywhere, by the way. Like, this is like, again, not directed towards Colin in any stretch of the imagination. This was like everyone. This was what the conversation around this finals was being had. And it was just like, what are we talking about here? And it's because the media just like, they can't, I mean, they still rather be talking about who's going to be coaching the New York Knicks. Will LeBron James win another championship? Can LeBron and Luka run it back? And it's like, who cares? Should Giannis go to New York? Who cares? I mean, when the Eagles and the Chiefs leading into the Super Bowl were playing, it's like, are we going to like sit here and talk about like who the New York Giants need to draft at quarterback? What the Cincinnati Bengals need to do. It's like, that's not the time and the place for it right now. Let's focus on the 2 great teams that are going into the Super Bowl. Like, we don't have to discuss, what the Chicago Bears need to do to turn, to have a bounce back year next year. It's like we could talk about the teams that just lost. We could talk about the Bills and the Commanders and how they lost and why they're not going to the Super Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that all makes sense. But it's just like I don't know. It's frustrating to see. It's frustrating to see. And then when we have bad conversations about the NBA, we can't be surprised that the NBA can be hurting for ratings and conversations, because we're always having seemingly the wrong conversation. And it's frustrating to see. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the NBA Finals? Are you shocked that it's been dramatic, that we actually have a legitimate series? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.